Again, this is Andy Reese with DDS, and as always, I'll start with the DDS data. Um, so we did have two more people that we support test positive this week, so that bringing the total in December up to 3, and the total people we support who have tested positive for COVID to 452. The two folks this week, one was in a natural home and one was in a host home, and both of them had been vaccinated. And so that brings our totals up to, in host homes, we've had 10 people, intermediate care facilities, 114, in a mental health facility, 1 person, in natural homes, 65, nursing homes, 2, out-of-state placement, 4, residential habilitation, 42, and supported living, 214. So the 114 people in ICFs represent about 38% of people in ICFs who have tested positive for COVID. Of those, 28 people have died. However, we've only had 13 COVID-related deaths among the confirmed COVID-related deaths among those 114 people who contracted COVID, resulting in about 11.5% of people in ICS who contracted COVID and have a confirmed COVID death. In natural homes, it's 65 people, representing about 7% of people in natural homes. Of those, there have been 6 who've died, but just 5 confirmed deaths from COVID, representing just under 8% of people in natural homes who contracted COVID and had a confirmed COVID death. In residential habilitation, the 42 people represent about 39% of people in residential habilitation. Of those, we have had 3 deaths, but 2 are confirmed COVID deaths, representing a little under 5% of people in residential habilitation who contracted COVID and have a confirmed COVID death. In supported living, 214 people represent about 22% of people in supported living who have contracted COVID. Of those, there have been 26 deaths, but only 15 of those are confirmed COVID deaths, representing about 7% of people in supported living who contracted COVID and had a confirmed COVID death. So that overall, the 452 people represent just over 18% of people supported by DDA who have contracted COVID. Of those, we've had 66 deaths, but it's only 37 confirmed COVID deaths, representing just over 8% of people supported by DDA who contracted COVID and have a confirmed COVID death. So by placement type in our larger placements, that's 2 people in natural homes in December who have contracted COVID. And fortunately, we still, it has been since April that we have had anyone who contracted COVID who has required inpatient care for COVID. And as I indicated, of the people who've contracted COVID, there have been 66 deaths. However, of those 66, 16 have been confirmed as not COVID related, and we are still waiting confirmation on 12. So that our total number of confirmed COVID deaths is 37, and the most recent confirmed COVID death was in March of 2021. And among our provider staff, we have had 749 provider staff who've tested positive for COVID. 55 of these have been reported by more than one provider, and we have had 10 provider staff deaths from COVID. Our vaccination rates, oh, I didn't update the date, but I did update the data. Um, so we are still at 82% of people supported by DDA who have received a vaccination. 89% of people in host homes, 99% of folks in ICFs, still at 65% in natural homes, 97% in residential habilitation, and 91% in supported living. Provider staff, 95%. And DDS staff is still at 94%. Some other interesting and troubling data out there is, as I've said, regularly people should be checking out the coronavirus.dc.gov website because you'll find current data there regarding the city overall. And while we got to a point that there was just moderate community spread in September, October, and November, we are now back to substantial community spread. And the most recently reported number, the weekly case rate that's on the website at this time, is 221 per 100,000 people. That number was down below 15 a bit more than a month ago. The daily case rate, oh, I'm sorry, that was the daily case rate that was below 15. The daily case rate is now at 31. A month ago, it was at 11.5. All of those, the COVID infection rate numbers are worsening in the 7-day trend. One thing that is encouraging is that the hospitalization rate is improving. Hopefully a reflection of the benefits of vaccinations. At the same time, I still get very concerned when I see 35% of people we support in their natural homes are still not vaccinated, because this still has the potential to be a very serious illness. And there is, at this time, substantial community spread. And so, we just have to continue these efforts to see the vaccination rates increase. And people need to be making sure that they are, when it is available, getting their booster. And just as a reminder, people can get any booster. So regardless of the either shot or shots you got initially, for a booster, you can choose whichever of the three you prefer, in consultation with your healthcare provider, perhaps. And so for people who received the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines more than 6 months ago, they are eligible, and it is recommended if you're over the age of 18 that you get a booster. And for people who received Johnson & Johnson more than 2 months ago, they are eligible, and it is recommended that they receive a booster. So we really hope that everyone will follow through with that, because not only do we have this new variant, but in addition to the new variant, we're coming into or already in, I don't know, flu season. So, taking all of the steps necessary to stay healthy throughout this winter. The trajectory right now looks quite frightening. And so I hope that people are taking all necessary measures in terms of masking, hand washing, keeping your distance, and getting vaccinated. Just as a reminder, if people have questions, type them in. Make sure that you direct them to everyone so that we will be able to see your question. Also, as a reminder, next week we will be closed for the holiday, and the following week we will also be closed for the next Friday, not to mislead anyone who works here or who might be coming for services. Next Friday we will be closed for the holiday, and the following Friday we will be closed for the holiday. Therefore, this will be our last forum for this calendar year. Is there someone from DC Health who could comment on the new information about the J&J vaccine? So Andrea or Maribel, can you comment on the new information about J&J vaccine?
Good afternoon. If we can have the question in the chat, please, or send to our email, then I can send it to one of our vaccination colleagues.
The question is in the chat. I can email it to you as well. And I mean, the thing I said at the beginning regarding vaccines too, people may want to consult their healthcare provider. There have been millions of vaccines administered. And so there is a lot more data out there about potential side effects, about potential side effects based on your particular demographic and health circumstances. And those really are decisions, it seems to me, that should be discussed with your healthcare provider. Can DC Health let us know if someone created an account, submitted an exemption, can they check the status of the exemption online?
Hi, we would need to ask the team that's in charge of taking care of the website that those applications for vaccinations are submitted. So we will get back to you on.
I forwarded that to Dr. Lewis, so when I hear, I will share that information with people. I do know that when Dr. Lewis was here with us, she said they anticipated being able to respond within 45 days. And then they had a meeting with, I think it was home health providers. Anyway, she had a meeting last week with some folks from the community where she said it is taking them it is taking longer than they had anticipated, and for people to please be patient. But she didn't answer whether there was a way for people to check along the way on the status. Just asked for people's indulgence while they continue to try to get through all of the waiver requests that have been submitted. Well, it doesn't seem that there's a lot of questions today. It may be that, like me, people still have a lot to do to be ready for one weekend from now. For people that are preparing to celebrate a holiday next Saturday. We'll keep this open until 12:30. Just in the event people do, as you're about to end, sometimes questions occur to people. So if we hear nothing, then at 12:30 we will be saying goodbye. At which point, actually, if in the event that does occur and there are no more questions, I hope everyone who is celebrating next weekend has a nice holiday. And I hope that everyone has a happy new year, happy and safe new year on all fronts, safe, a safe and healthy, happy new year to everyone. And we will return to this forum the Friday after New Year's, which is January 7th. Do we need to amend ISPs for day services to receive retainers? No. So as long as the day service was in place in March of 2020, then there is not a need. You don't need, because I know that when they had ISP meetings, when people had not returned today, they had removed it. As long as it was in place during the pandemic, um, there was not the need for a current authorization in order to submit a claim. The claim would be for the hours that had previously been authorized and that could not now be provided because of the pandemic, even at this late date. The DC web portal has been down. Is there any word on when it will be back up? I don't know what you mean by the DC web portal. Is that MMIS? Okay, yes, it is. Apparently, there's some issue with submitting claims for DC Medicaid right now. This is the first I've heard of it. I'd have to ask DHCF or DHS what, I guess DHCF, what the issue is with that. How long has it been down? Or is it just today? It was down yesterday as well. We will see what we can find out from DHCF. I know the person I would ask is not in her office today, but we'll see what we can find out, and we can send something out to providers updating them. Huh. So DHCF is looking into that, and they will keep us posted, and we'll share that information with our providers. Thank you, Mary Devassier. So as soon as we get word from DHCF about the status, we'll send something out to all providers as an update about what the issue is and the resolution. And it appears there are no more questions. And so I hope everyone has a very nice holiday. I don't know. I see a question. Can we still receive the retro payment for staff if we haven't received it yet? If you're referring to the retainer payment, so retainer payments, retainer payments were authorized beginning January 1, 2021. So if you've gotten no retainer payment and are eligible, yes, you can still submit a claim for a retainer payment. So there apparently have been issues all week with the system. There have been intermittent outages this week. The system went down during a troubleshooting call. Conduit is investigating what the problem is now. Okay, well, have a great weekend and a happy holiday, everyone.